Welcome to this episode of The Inner Estate with your host, Bridget Stuart. My guest today is Tiffany Cook. Tiffany, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
I am also very excited because we're going to dive in on a topic that I don't think is discussed enough and it can sometimes be difficult for people to talk about. So I'm really thrilled that we're going to dive in on this. And that topic is um, really how people can and how you overcame pain that you thought would destroy you.
Yeah.
You are facing just a destructive level of pain and loss, and it has not destroyed you. So I really want to hear what you can share with us about facing that level of pain.
In May of 2023, my husband died suddenly, and it was just a shock to me and my three boys. I felt like I was in a fog. I was really having trouble day to day to struggle. I stayed in bed a lot of the time. It was exhausting physically, mentally, in every way. Was able to, like, very on a limited basis, talk to people on the phone, text. I didn't go into work for a while. So just, it was world shattering, and I wasn't sure how to go on.
When you think back to that time, can you take us into sort of an actual morning? So imagine it was a school day for your sons. What would you do? Were you able to maybe get up and get them out, and then would you go back to bed? Like, tell us a little bit more about what was happening during that intense period on a,
Sure.
like, kind of a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So they're gone and out of the house, but we had kind of we'd always I'd have them over for dinner twice a week. I'd sit with them in church on Sunday. I would call them during the week. And I knew their world was shattered too, but it just kind of my day to day just stopped. I mean, besides eating and sleeping, that's at the beginning, that's really all I could do. My sisters and mom that really helped through that time, and some good friends would check up on me, but it's like you're going through life like normal, and all of a sudden something like that, you lose your husband that you were married to for 31 years. And it's just life didn't make sense. I don't know if this makes sense. Time was kind of like an accordion. Sometimes time was going so slow. What was 2 minutes felt like an hour, or sometimes all of a sudden I'd be in the next day.
Right.
So it was a really hard time for me and my boys.
Were you able to navigate work in those early stages?
So probably week 3 or 4, I would go into the office. I mean, I was used to working basically 9 to 5, and I would go for into the office. I could probably handle about 4 hours, and it would gradually go, it added longer. One of the things I would do is my best friend at work, I'm like, I grabbed a pillow and I would like, I'm going to go sleep under her desk in the dark because I can't handle thinking anymore and functioning anymore, and then come back and try to work for 2 more hours. And then also at the time, my husband and I were fixing up a rent house that we were going to put back on the market, and that just went to the sidelines totally.
Yeah.
And I even trying to go over there to hang up a new blind, I could work for about 5 minutes, and then I'd lay on the floor and just cry and be overwhelmed. So it was, I mean, it was pretty hard.
How did you I mean, that's amazing that you went to the office and you figured out a way to make it work.
Mhm.
Grabbing the pillow, hiding in a room where people wouldn't find you, getting under the desk, and then going back out. How long did that period last?
Well, I think it was just like I'd work at the office for 4 hours, then 5 hours, then 6 hours. And a lot of people were uncomfortable around me because they didn't know how to react. Like they cared, but then like, do we talk about it? Do we not talk about it? So at
Right.
first, I had a lot of support and like, can we bring you meals, cards, sending flowers, and different things like that. And then all of a sudden, on the outside, even though on the inside it wasn't true, on the outside, like, oh, she looks like she's fine. And then everybody kind of just treated me like it never happened. And I was very open to talk about it. I think more on other people's side. It was an uncomfortable topic. And so
Right.
they didn't know what to do. And so that was kind of hard, like having a lot of support at the beginning and then not at the end. Or not as,
Right.
after a few weeks in, they
That
just
hasn't
went
progressed.
to
Right.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what do they call that again? There's a phrase for that. It's like the casserole extravaganza. So like in the
But
first
yeah.
10 days after, like people are bringing food, doing stuff and all that, and then it turns into just poof,
Hmm.
like wasteland and you're kind of on
Right.
your own.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
are right, there is that awkwardness. I mean, you have lived through one of people's major fears. And that brings up for people the fear if that happens to Tiffany, that could happen to me. And a lot of times they just don't know what to say. And I'm sure you had a lot of awkward, there was probably a lot of awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend that I was close to, and it was actually a lender that me and my husband were friends with. And he felt like he would needed to reach out to me, but didn't know what to say. So probably like 2 months after the fact, he called me into his office to talk, and he was crying more than I was. I think he just like, I wasn't there for you, and how are you doing? And so people had, sometimes they had guilt around not supporting me, but I think it's an awkward situation. I mean, I knew everybody loved and cared about me, but that doesn't happen that often. So they didn't know exactly how they could support me.
When was the darkest time?
Probably like my boys had just left the house, and we were empty nesters for the first time. And I'm an extreme extrovert. And so coming home to an empty house and just how you'll have a couple and they'll divide the tasks. And so one of the things he did, he would always check the mail. And so for 2 weeks, the mail didn't get checked. And then I had to take the garbage out by myself. And it was just like, okay, this is all me now.
Right.
Like it's all me to do everything. It's all me on me to support myself financially. So yeah, I didn't go to church for a while. I just part of it was just it was exhausting being around a large group of people. Like I could go to work and focus and like, okay, I did my thing and leave, but other areas of my life totally changed. And yeah, it was a difficult time.
What changed? Can you pinpoint a time where something rose up in you that you wanted to thrive again, or that when did you start coming out of it survival mode and get more into I need to reclaim my life? Can you talk
Yeah.
about that?
That's a good question. So I pretty early on, I had another realtor I was friends with who also is a pastor at the church I'd gone to. And he said, you really need to get with this counselor. She's a trauma counselor. She's specifically trained for that, and she can help you. And so we did some intense counseling for several weeks where I would go to her office and we would work together for like, I can't remember, it was 4 to 6 hours straight. And then the other thing that I couldn't imagine going through this without God is sometimes when a tragedy happens, people like get angry at God, like, why'd you let this happen? But he was always there for me. And really him and knowing people were praying for me. I mean, that's what got me through, because I knew my husband was in a better place. He wasn't suffering anymore. And then I knew, even though I was alone now, that God still had a plan for my life. So just kind of, I was at home by myself, but I really wasn't at home by
You
myself.
really weren't alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So God was there. And that's probably the biggest thing that helped me to continue to go forward.
So you mentioned that you worked with the trauma counselor
Hmm.
and you would sometimes go there and have 4 to 6 hour sessions. Was she doing a particular technique with you? Was she doing like emotional release work, or can you tell a little bit more? Because some people might hear that and say, 6 hours? Oh my goodness. Like how would that unfold?
So I think some people might think like, what kind of voodoo happened, but it's called EMDR.
Hmm.
And it's crazy. Like I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work. I've tried this before. I think I'm too cerebral. I can't focus into my emotions. And so she started and was like, okay, from a level of 0 to 10, your emotions around it and how you're triggered and all the trauma around it, what would you say you are? And so she got me early on because she said, I normally don't get people that go through something like this until maybe 6, 7, 8 months. But the fact that we got you early on is really going to be beneficial for you. So you're not going to have that PTSD set in. And so when I came in the first time, I was like at a level 8, and then we'd work for a couple hours, and then she's, okay, now what do you feel? And I'm like, whoa. I'm at a level 6, and I don't know what you did, but it's working. So she asked me during that time, pretend the day you find out he was passed away, what was the one scene that was most traumatic to you? And we focused on that scene, like that one scene. That's what we focused on for 2 days for like 6 hours. And when I started, I was at an 8, and then we worked and worked and worked and worked. And then instead of like me being like, oh, I can see myself there, it was more like, oh, I'm watching a movie of this fact
Right.
happened and then this fact happened. So I went from like an 8 to down to a 2 or 3, and
Wow.
I could not believe it. And like with friends and God, talented counselors, that's what made the biggest difference.
Amazing. So
Yeah,
you did not heal in isolation.
exactly. Exactly. I couldn't imagine, like, I was quick to grab on to whatever support I could, because just being alone after something like that, I just think you can get spiral down to a dark place. And
Yes.
I did not want to do
Yes.
that.
And at the same time, you now were that solo parent. And even though your sons were older,
Mm-hmm.
they still need their parents, right? So you had the burden of you're a widow now, quite
Mm-hmm.
unexpectedly,
Mm-hmm.
and you are also working and you have responsibilities and you have these three sons. As you said, it was so
Right.
traumatic for them as well. So
Right.
sometimes did you feel as if you didn't even have a choice but to recover? Like, did that feel heavy at any time?
Yeah, I think that instead of it just being me that needed to be taken care of, the fact that I knew that they were hurting, I was really concerned for them, that kind of pushed me. If you're just focused on yourself all the time, that's not necessarily healthy. But when you want to give to other people and get outside yourself and see what their needs are, like, yeah, my 3 boys definitely wanting to help them out, I think helped me out because we were all going through it together.
When one of the things that I've heard about and that I have experienced to a degree, sometimes after a loss, like you reach out, you take care of yourself the best you can. It sounds like you did give yourself time to recuperate, heal, sleep, and eat.
Hmm.
As you said, those rudimentary beginnings. Luckily, you had a job with the flexibility that you were able to do that as you needed.
One of the really cool things is I've been a realtor. Well, it's like I'm starting my 12th year now. And every single year, sometimes you have really good years in real estate, sometimes bad years. And I kind of was out of pocket for maybe 4 months. In the Bible, it talks about God takes care of the widows and orphans. That year, 2023, I did the biggest volume in real estate I had ever done. And like, that
Wow.
doesn't even make sense because it's just like all of a sudden in life just stopped. And I still had deals going on. I had my team helping me, my admin helping me. And God just took care of me and my family.
Right.
You wouldn't think you're out of pocket for 4 months because of a major tragedy in your life that would be your best real estate year ever.
Right.
So that's just little things like that, or big things like that, were really, really cool. Just knowing that I wasn't alone and that God cared about me, saw what happened, and like, I'm going to take care of her.
Did you go through a stage where you felt like you couldn't laugh or be joyful?
Yeah, it's almost like survivor's remorse. Where
Yes.
like, how can I smile and laugh with my friends when this terrible thing happened? So the first few times that I would catch myself smiling or catch myself laughing, it's like, am I allowed to do this? Because I'm supposed to be really sad and this awful thing happened. But I just like, life doesn't stop when a tragedy
Right.
happens.
Right.
And so I had to give myself permission to smile and to laugh and look at the good things in life instead of just focus on the tragedy.
So
Yeah.
you did reclaim joy.
Yes.
Yes. I have heard that sometimes that's the last obstacle a lot of people face is that celebratory, joyful feeling and not feeling guilty. Then your life took another turn because then not only were you able to laugh again and you're working again, what else has changed in your life since overcoming the pain that you thought would destroy you?
Well, big changes happened. So I was a realtor and lived in the Dallas Fort Worth area for 25 years. I moved a lot as a kid, and I'm like, I'm never, ever, ever going to move again. And my dad was a pastor. My late husband was a pastor. And I'm like, I don't want to be a pastor's wife again. I'm never leaving Dallas. God brought the most amazing man into my life. And before I knew it, I'm like, I was open to being in the ministry again. I was open to leaving Dallas, and we moved to Lakeland, Florida, and I'm in the ministry again and a realtor and in a totally different state. And then so my life's changed a lot. Like all the people I'm around, where I go to work, who I'm married to, and then also like he was a widower. And so when you lose somebody, like you can't help but change who you are in the inside. And being married to somebody who's experienced pain like that, I think it's really helpful because we get it. Like I can say, I love and miss my husband. He can say, I love and miss my wife. And there's not any weirdness around it because we
That's right.
understand.
Yeah, you've both felt it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. It's so
Yeah.
funny. You're like, I don't want to be married to a pastor again. And here you are, right? We have to be
Yeah,
careful what we say out loud
exactly.
or even to ourselves. And you actually manifested this. I believe you manifested it during your
Mhm. Mhm.
recovery. And so now you're in Florida and you still have an amazing team in Dallas Fort Worth because you built
Exactly.
such a big business there. So you still have your real estate team, and that's actually still your main hub for your
Right.
business.
Right.
And you moved your life. Now you're a Florida girl.
Right. And I even had a call this
Amazing.
morning from a former client, and she's like, I need to move. Can you help me? Like, I thought of all the people that could help me, Tiffany can help me. And so
Right.
still do, like, I'm transitioning to having business here in Florida because I'm coming in as a new agent that doesn't know anybody. And that's kind of a slow process. But yeah, I still have clients call and like, can you help me buy or sell a house? And I'm like, well, I would definitely be happy to. And I have this amazing team that takes care of all my clients. And so it's worked out really, really. I never thought I would be in two areas of the country doing real estate, but it's really exciting. It's something new for me. So I love it.
Yeah, I think it's great. And you're in two of the states where that tend to have positive growth. So that's good too. Yeah, they've been hot spots for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and not saying they have perfect markets. There are challenges to the market, but they're great markets to be in.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
I just think it's amazing with the ministry and being the pastor's wife again and moving to Lakeland, Florida, where I don't even think you had been to Lakeland, Florida prior to this. Had you?
Well, this is so weird how God takes care of you. So when I was like in a dark place, I would just imagine myself at the beach. And I actually went to a Bible college in Lakeland, Florida. And I think
Okay.
it was just like a gift from God. Like, okay, do need to transplant her from one area of the country to another, but I'm not going to drop her in some totally strange place. And so one of my best friends from college actually lives 5 minutes away. People
Nice.
like, "Oh, I know you. I remember you from college. I remember your family, and your dad used to be pastor of the church near Lakeland." And people went to the Bible college. Like my current husband, went to the same Bible college that I went to, and it even had an English class with my late husband, which is like that's
That's
kind of
crazy.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
It
but I
is.
love like if I couldn't be in Texas, which is my favorite, to be between Disney and Clearwater Beach and have palm trees and where it's warm and sunny all the time, like this is not a bad place to live at all. And everybody's moving to
No.
Florida and everybody's moving to Texas, so it's a great place to be
Hmm.
a realtor too.
Right. So, what is the next step for you? You have recently launched a YouTube channel, Tiffany's Table,
Mhm.
and you're candidly discussing recuperating from tragic loss and how helping other people that may be facing it. And that is a community and a page that's growing very quickly. Else is next for you as you move ahead now?
So, business wise, I want to have a thriving, healthy team in Texas, which I already do. And then I want to have a team in Florida. And then what's really my passion is I have a lot of different traumas in my life that I'm a super positive person. And my husband's like, "Oh my goodness, you've been through this and this and this and this, and you've had such a hard life." And I never considered that my life was hard, but then when you put it that way, with all the facts, like I'm like, I guess maybe I have gone through a lot. And just using my story to be an encouragement to other people. I only have 4 episodes because I just started my YouTube channel called Tiffany's Table, and each episode has been just some different hard times that I've gone through, but it surprised me when I put the one on grief out there. That's the one I'm getting the most views on. I put a teaser on Facebook and like navigate them to my YouTube page, but I
Right.
just put it on like a few days ago and I already have 3,000 views on the little snippet that I put on Facebook. And so I'm wanting to use this as a platform to help other people. I've thought about writing a book. I've thought about I'm very comfortable in front of an audience. So I thought, if God opens doors for me to speak in front of like a large group of women to share my story to encourage them, like you're not alone. Other people have gone through this and you can survive. You need a support system and you need just to rely on God. And if I'm not more special than anybody else, so if I can survive really dark times, then you can too. Like, don't be discouraged. Don't give up. Like, I have such a passion for real estate and such a passion for people. And now I'm seeing God. Well, okay. So my tattoo is beauty for ashes. It comes from Isaiah
Nice.
61:3, where God can take the dark, hard times you've gone through, the tragedy you've gone through, and even though like it still sucks that you went through that, bring something good out of it. And so I think my story can help other people. So I'm really excited how that's gonna all happen.
I am too. It's really, as you've seen from that one video getting that many views, people are hungry for connection. They're hungry for the inspiration of someone who has made it through.
Right.
I am sure you and I will never know who was touched and inspired
Mhm.
by what they saw in your video. But I know that getting this message out is going to have a ripple effect, and people are hungry for someone real that is being as open as you are and sharing all of it. So I
Mhm.
just think that this, even this to me for you could almost become like a secondary ministry.
Mhm.
It somewhere beyond Lakeland, Florida. Now you've gone international with sharing this. and being a beacon of hope for people that are in a
Yeah.
really dark spot.
Yeah. That would excite me. Like I'm going to let God do all the timing and open all the doors, but I see in the future like this even growing, my YouTube channel growing and writing a book and all the stuff in the future that I can get my story out there to encourage and help other women who have gone through hard times.
Let's think for a minute if someone has stumbled upon us today and they're in the darkest place. They are, let's say it's right after a tragedy and they are not finding the will to reach out. They are rejecting help being offered. They are barely getting out of bed, and yet they are seeking connection online because they just can't face talking to the people they know and the people around them. What would be a first step they could take? What would you recommend is just a first step if someone is feeling stuck in the immediacy or the stranglehold of grief? What would be a first step they could do?
Well, knowing that it doesn't seem like life could get better, just deciding to go forward even when it's painful. And also, I can't emphasize enough the benefit of getting with a good counselor, because if they're specifically trained in trauma and grief, sometimes talking to a friend, they're not going to totally get it and they really care about you, but they don't always know what to say. But if you talk to a counselor that's done this over and over again, I mean, that was a huge benefit to me. So I would encourage anybody, like I encourage my sons to do the same. Get with somebody who can pour into your life and can listen to your story and can kind of guide and direct you, like, you can do this. I'm here to help you. I'm here to listen, and can just give you some step-by-step guides on how to go forward, because most people haven't experienced something like that. And even though they care about you, they don't know, it's just awkward. They don't know what to say. So a professional could definitely help. And that's what I experienced. And that's what my sons experienced, being able to talk to somebody. And then there's so many, now with the internet and everything, there's so many resources out there. I joined some groups on Facebook of other people who the exact same thing that happened in my life happened to them. So reading their stories, reading how they felt, I'm like, wow, I felt the same way, and how they're going forward encouraged me too. And so just, you can look at your immediate family and friends, but sometimes going beyond that can be really helpful, connecting with people who understand and connecting with professionals that know how to help you out. So I
Right.
would definitely
That
recommend that.
know actual techniques to help you move forward.
Right.
Because some of the times, uh, the people that love you the most out of care, they can actually, I don't want to say be harmful, that's dramatic, but sometimes they can hinder your progress because they want to coddle you
Right.
because you've been through such loss, right? And sometimes, usually in the grief process, you're going to have a tipping point where the coddling is not beneficial anymore. It
Yes.
actually can slow someone down, right? So
Mhm.
it's good to get that neutral, experienced person that can help you.
And don't put a lot of pressure on yourself, like, okay, I need to be over everything by this date. Like, oh, it's
Right,
been this long, and why am I still stuck and having a hard
right.
time? Like, everybody's different. Everybody's grief is different. Even my three boys,
Mhm.
I have twins, they're grieving totally different from one another. And so just to have grace for yourself, to just let time happen and healing happen in the specific way, and don't put pressure like I should have done this, or I should be doing this, or I should be better by this time. Just being gentle with yourself and doing the little steps that you know how to do to help yourself out, but not feeling like, okay, life should be back to normal. It's been a year, like what's wrong with me?
Mhm.
to know that you did go through a hard thing, and it's not linear. Healing is not linear. It's not like you keep getting better and better every day. It's
Right.
pretty messy where like you'll take, 3 steps forward and 4 steps back sometimes, and just
And then
understand.
7 sideways and then tie a
Yes.
knot and then go, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more like a plate of spaghetti noodles
Hmm.
than any kind of straight line.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that that's really good advice. And it's something people really should keep in mind. Because then when you become critical on yourself, you can just delay everything.
Right.
And there's no table of Olympic judges
No.
off to the side, like that are going to go 10, 7.5. Say, no one's doing that.
Right.
And anyone who might be doing that, they can get on the freeway and take the
That's true. One of the crazy things is sometimes the people you think that are going to be there for you during your darkest moments don't know how to handle it, and they kind of shy away. And then other people you wouldn't even have imagined that are going would be there for you, they come to the forefront and they're like, "Tiffany, what can we do for you?
right.
Pray for you, help you out in practical ways." So I had some former clients that I'd helped buy a house like 4 years ago, and we didn't talk that much, even though we were friendly with each other. And they brought me a meal. And then when I decided to move to Florida, they were one of the few people that came over, like, "We're going to help you pack. Just tell us what to do
Amazing.
and we'll do it." And yeah, so I think that's interesting too, that you just have people that are in your corner cheering you on, and in a practical way. And so that was really unique, and I really appreciated the help that I got from them.
And it is funny. You mentioned how sometimes the people that we assume are the ones that are going to be right there, sometimes they're not able to be. And I'm not being critical of them. As we talked about earlier, you did go through one of the biggest fears most people have. And if that triggered something in them that brought that fear out and they couldn't just be that close, I can understand and empathize with that. It is very surprising though when you're the person and you're like, oh, that's so weird. I really thought, so and so would be here, and it's not. It's they're here, and I didn't even see them in the
Yeah,
wings. I didn't realize they were waiting in the wings, and they were right
right.
here.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's amazing how those things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
With your new relationships that you're making in your new town, in your new church,
Mhm.
even socially, let's say you meet someone at an event or a party. Is this something that comes up with them? So, new people, are you sharing what happened with new people? Or with new people, are you who you are today? How does that show up for you?
I got to the place where I can talk about it, the death of my late husband, and it doesn't have the emotional like punch you in the gut. And so I'll just, yeah, I freely talk about it. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, my late husband, and then we got married." And then in the conversation, the people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then like, "No, it's fine," which is not fine, but they don't have to sit like, as soon as I reveal that I had a death of my spouse, we don't have to sit and cry for an hour right when I meet somebody. So
Right,
sometimes they're
right,
like, "Why did you move here?" Or I'll say, "Oh yeah, we've been married for a year." And they look at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "Well, both of our spouses passed away." And then it just, sometimes it's awkward, but now like the people at my work and the people at my church, they just know it's part of my story. And so
right.
I think the way that you handle something, people pick up on that. And so if
Yes,
I'm comfortable with it, then it helps them to be more comfortable with it.
right. So that's really cool. What a blessing that you've reached that point where you can have that conversation
Mhm.
and not have it be that emotional,
Right.
and it doesn't take anything away from your late husband. That does not discount the beautiful life you had built 31 years, that you're not falling down crying. Actually, this makes me think of another dynamic that occurs. Sometimes there's some people that think, oh, they didn't recuperate fast enough. And then there's some people that think, oh, she recuperated too fast. It's so funny how we have this peanut gallery and people that
Mhm.
are, offering up their thoughts. But I love that you have found a way to navigate that with your new relationship.
Everybody has their own opinion. So one of my late husband's good friends is like, you need to wait 2 years before you get into another relationship. And I just had to tell my boys, like, there's everybody grieves differently. There's not like this magic time, like, you're not ready to find your other person at 11 months and 30 days. And then all of a sudden, magically, after you're
Now you're ready.
away. Now you're ready. Boom. So it's just
Right.
different for everybody. And it's God's timing too. Like God brought this awesome man into my life and the timing was perfect, even though some people, might disagree with that. It's like they don't know everything going on in our lives. And so it was a perfect timing. And some people, they might have to wait 2, 3, 4. We know somebody that waited 9 years before they were even open to considering living their life with somebody else. And so there's not like one way you have to go forward after you
Right.
have a tragedy. Everybody handles it different.
That's right. And neither's right or wrong. The one with 9 years, that was right for her or him. That's what was good for them.
Right.
And hopefully now they're, enjoying and thriving and doing whatever they want to do. Well, do you have any other thoughts that you want to share with anyone who might be listening that is in the initial stages or maybe even in the halfway stages where they're doing okay and they're putting on a brave face and they're showing the world like, yeah, I'm doing okay, but inside they're really not.
Yeah.
I know you advise reach out and get help. There's very skilled, very experienced grief counselors. Any other thoughts you'd like to share with them?
You're not a weirdo and you can grieve however is best for you. There's not like a magic way to grieve. And you can do it in your own timing, in your own way. And, right when it happens, like it's not going to be dark forever. Like you are going to smile again. You are going to laugh again. You don't have to feel guilty. But if you do feel guilty, that's okay too. So it's not like one size fits all. And so just to be gentle with yourself, to reach out for help, to talk when you need to talk, to be quiet when you need to be quiet, and just do everything at your own pace. And just also always remember, I don't know, everybody has different backgrounds, but that God loves you like crazy and he's there for you and you don't have to go through this alone.
Thank you for that. And I'm so thrilled that you've launched your YouTube channel. Again, that's Tiffany's Table, and it's Tiffany with an I
Mm-hmm.
at the end. So Tiffany's Table. And you have these two amazing real estate teams, Dallas Fort Worth and Lakeland, Florida.
Right.
So, and that surrounding area. So, what's your favorite way for people?
Well, just text, or if they find me on my YouTube channel, like I respond to all the comments. I'm happy to, be there for somebody or just encourage them in whatever way they need to be encouraged.
I'm so thrilled you are my guest today. I would love for you to come back. Will you come back and be a guest again?
I would love that. This is a lot of fun.
Yes, because I want to track how you're doing with these new endeavors and in your continued recuperation and recovery. You really are just such an inspiration. So thank you for sharing all of that today. All of Tiffany's information for contact is in the description. I want to thank you for watching this episode or listening to this episode of The Interstate. I hope you'll come back for the next one. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.